And that was the other thing. Growing up in the church with the dad as a preacher, my mom's the preacher's wife, which is just as bad. Then being homeschooled by my mom, there was nowhere to get away to figure out who I was. That might be the answer to why I was a late bloomer is I didn't have the space to breathe and get away and just try things without feeling silly or stupid or a failure.
Bed. Love.
Bed.
Bed.
Love.
Beyond.
Beyond.
Bed, love, beyond. Bed, love, beyond.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Bed Love Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love like us. Thank you for listening to us on Podbean, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and Google Play Music. Please rate, review, like, and subscribe to us on any of the devices that you listen to. Again, you see that I did the intro for myself. That means that Jennifer isn't here. She's a little bit busy, so she couldn't make the podcast, but it's okay. We love you, Jen. You're awesome. So this episode is episode 79, Being a Late Bloomer, the Growing Pains, and the Wonder Years. Yeah, so we're going to really talk about this. I mean, we kind of talked about a little bit about this on episode 75, but we're going to get into depth with it because we have a special guest with us, and he is the rock god of podcasting, Charles McFall. What's going on, man?
That's great, but I'm going to have to, if Jen's not here, that was in my contract. She's here. I'm walking.
Yeah. See, Jen, you messing things up already.
I do want to say publicly that I've been listening for a bit, and I gotta say there's times when I definitely am with you and how you see things, and there's times when the things that she says, I was like, that's spiritual, man. That's deep.
Yeah.
She says some good stuff.
No, yeah, she's great. I mean, and that's
you're a great partnership.
Thank you, and that's the great thing, like about us, because like she's definitely. I mean, that's our whole shtick. She's definitely the more like experienced one, like in life, and I'm more the inexperienced. But like, I get my knowledge just from like reading a lot of articles and stuff. I don't have any like world knowledge as like she does. Like more.
Whatever. I saw Pornhub wish you a happy birthday the other day.
Shh, you're not supposed to talk about that stuff, man. What's wrong with you? That was between us. But yeah, so this episode came about because we had an episode 75, and it was called "Is Sowing Your Wild Oats Necessary on the Journey to Finding Love?" And that was where I was at, where I was like, you know what? I really haven't. I mean, I'm not a virgin, but like, I'm definitely not a rock god, you know. So I'm like, man, like, and sometimes I eventually do want to get married and stuff like that, but like my biggest fear is to be with somebody and then be like, wait, I don't know if I've done anything. I mean, done everything. You know, that kind of like gets under my skin, because that happened to me with my ex-fiance like years ago, where like we were just going out for like the first 2 months, and I was really like digging her, and then I was like, but wait a minute, like if this is gonna be it, like, did I do everything? You know, so I was just
That's such a dumb thing that society has put into us to a point. Is that you don't ask that when you buy a house. Have I lived everywhere? You don't ask that when I buy a car. It's not the end. I mean, I know marriage is the end all be all, but it really is the beginning, and that's something that I hope to help show you and allay your fears. Just for the record, I've been married to my wife for 16 years. We've been together 17, so we're going strong. So I'll let you guide where we're gonna go. We'll start with the early days or whatever, but I was a late bloomer, and I'm gonna tell you, man. I never sowed wild oats. I was a unicycle kind of guy, if you will.
What?
I don't even know what that means.
That's awesome.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
No, but all right, but okay. We'll definitely start from the beginning. But I guess like, you kind of answered it, but no, I want to ask you: is sowing your wild oats necessary on the journey to finding love?
God, no, man. When you talk about late bloomer, I didn't really start drinking until I was mid-20s. I didn't have sex until I met my wife. I didn't smoke weed until I was in my 30s. You know, wild oats are I think it comes down to, we'll probably dig into this as we get through, but I think wild oats are for those who are unsure of themselves. I was listening to your one of your latest episodes where you're talking about gold diggers and thought pockets and all that, and you kind of, and I understand it was on that side of things about the story of Black China and everything, but the guys who have that side, that you, I think you said yourself, that guy, you know, some guys are, no, my wife does everything but this. I want somebody on the side to do this. So no, life's part of compromise, and when you get on the same page with your partner, man, it's so much better. And honestly, I grew up where I've been married to my wife 16 years. A guy at the grocery store paid her a compliment the other day, said, "Oh, you've got inviting eyes." I'm like, I'll stab a bitch. What are you doing? You know? And it's not controlling jealousy. It's like, no, I still think she's the most gorgeous, hottest person in the world that's been around me, and I get jealous when somebody acknowledges that.
Right, yeah, especially like that. You have inviting eyes. You can't say like, "Hey, you're pretty." Like, why you got to say something like that? That's like that's crossing the line, you know.
But also, you know, the guy saying it, and then my reaction makes her feel better because it's never a "what are you doing?" It's never controlling, oppressive.
Right.
Jealousy is like, no, you're worth fighting for, and I'll fight. I don't care. I'll fight for you.
No, that's awesome. But okay, so I always forget that sometimes our terminology isn't universal because we are an international podcast. So pretty much I found 3 different definitions for late bloomer on, you know, of course, our tried and true website, Urban Dictionary. And so one of the and we're gonna talk about all the different facets of late bloomer. So one of them is referred to someone who develops a skill later than usual, which I can see. Number 2 is a teenager of ages 16 to 18 who is still in the early phases of puberty. And the last one is my favorite, where it says people who experience a delayed heyday in their 20s and or 30s when they finally have the factors, social and or job status, money, body, looks, etc., to get laid and gain attraction, popularity among the opposite sex. These people were typically categorized as nerds/geeks back in high school. And the example that they give is, he was such a dweeb in high school, but after graduating from Harvard and earning 6 figures in a hedge fund, he's become a late bloomer.
That's bullshit. That's nothing to do with the guys on my wallet. That example, but the definition is spot on, I think.
Yeah. So, all right. So, okay. So let's start from the beginning. How you told me in your email, and once again, thank you for writing in for this topic. I was really enthused that you were enthused to be on the show, and I saw what you had to write, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a great show. So you said you lived in a Baptist preacher's home. So how was living that lifestyle?
Sheltered, as you would think. I feel like with the stories I've heard of other preachers' kids that I got off fairly easy. It wasn't super strict. It wasn't super stern. Definitely burned me on religion, though. Faith versus religion are 2 different things. That's another show. But growing up there, let's just focus on the dating part of it. So growing up there, I wasn't allowed, quoting fingers, to have a girlfriend or to date until I was 16. That was the rule in the house because I had to drive myself, apparently. Something like that.
Right.
But worse. I mean, dude, every sex talk. Okay, so if you may or may not, and your audience may have not heard of a book or an author named James Dobson. He's a Christian author, and I forget what the book is called, but it's about puberty and adolescence, and it might just be called Puberty and Adolescence. I don't know.
Okay.
But instead of having the sex talk with grown ass adults being grown, I had to read this book, and it got to masturbation, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm probably 13 or so at the time,
right?
Maybe a little younger, 12, because my mom tried to hit it. I was homeschooled too, so that's that throws a little thing on top of the late bloomer there,
right?
Because I didn't get a lot of socialization in school, but she tried to hit it before, everything kicked in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it talked about masturbation, and I just could not grasp the concept. I don't understand. I know funny grasp the concept, yeah. But I don't understand. And she was the only person to talk to. So I went to her, which is awkward as hell, right, when you think about it.
Of course.
You're talking to your mom. And so she's all awkward about it. I don't know why. And so we live in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And so we lived in South Georgia. I mean, Farmville, South Georgia.
Okay.
And Of course, farmers stood around there adjusting themselves and spitting, whatever, spitting tobacco and stuff outside the church all the time. And she goes, well, you know how those guys are like adjusting themselves? I went, well, yeah. That was it.
Wow.
She's like, well, it's kind of like that. I was like, I still don't understand. She will understand one day, I think, is where she. So I was left to my own means to figure things out.
Right.
Which is not the best path. So yeah, that was my introduction to romance. Is you can't date until you're 16. Even when I went to dance parties for teenagers having birthdays or whatever, and I was under 16. If I remember this clear, I was dancing with some girls, which really, when you're 15 or less, well, I don't know about nowadays, but in a sheltered small town, when you're 15, you just kind of step side to side and hold their waist and try not to freak out.
Right. The ruler thing, right? You have to put the ruler in between you to see how far you guys are.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I remember also being teased by my parents about. I was like, "Woo, you like this girl?" Like, it's just mixed messages, right?
Right.
Be a man, grow up, find a wife, make a family. God, I thought God hated sex because the way my family treated it. That is not the case, people. Well, you'll find out that later.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just these mixed messages. So I had to read that book, and then I had to go to a conference. That I remember these freaking pleather-bound heavy books for. It was a marriage conference, but they had this teenage part to it, like for teens to come. So I went for 2 days out of the 5 or whatever. And it's for, God, man, if you're having problems in marriage, definitely talk to a counselor, talk to somebody. Don't just talk to your buddies and your friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And get help. One of the things I do in Rock God of Podcasting is I just tell stories from my life and the things that I learned, and I bear all. So, if you're afraid to talk about something, you can probably find the topic on my show. And I talk about my marriage and the mistakes I've made and how I've fixed it and where I go, so on and so forth. But we went to this conference that's supposed to make marriages better, and I just remember it's just a bunch of rules, and I had to write a vow in it about how I'll cherish a girl's chastity. And I don't remember. It was oppressive.
All right. Okay. Oh man.
So needless to say, I was not good with the ladies for a long time.
Right. Oh man. So okay. So you were saying that some of the limitations that you had was that you couldn't date until you were 16. Why necessarily 16?
I don't remember. I think thinking back, I think it was because I needed to have a job so I could pay for the date. I needed to be able to drive. I think that was some of it. I think it was arbitrary mostly. Because at 16 you're still not ready. I mean, there's people not ready at 30. I got married at 23. Okay. I probably wasn't ready till about 33.
Oh wow.
I was immature. That's all I'm saying is I did some stupid. I never cheated on my wife. I have never done anything horrible as a human being, but I was very immature and just did stupid shit. That's all it was.
No. Okay, I hear you. So how did you? Okay, so how do I say this? What did you think were some of the things you thought you were missing to not feel like you were a late bloomer?
Honesty. I talked with I started with my kids at 6 years old. I have 4 children, and my oldest 2 are now 12 and 10, and then my youngest 2 are 5 and 4. And so I started at 6 with the oldest 2, doing some basics of sex talk. Talking about relationships. My wife and I, we don't just teach about sex. See, that was the thing. Is sometimes you're a late bloomer just because you're sheltered or you're just caught up with stuff. I was a geek, I was born to be a podcaster because at 12, when you had cassette tapes, I wired 2 VCRs to a boombox to record. VCRs. I did my own audio over the VCR cassette.
Oh,
right?
nice.
So I was taking clips of the show Quantum Leap, which is super geek.
Yes.
Putting songs over, making like a montage thing for the last episode because I was so sad when he got his break from traveling around jumping into people.
Right.
So yeah, I was always tech. I was always geeky. I was always naive to a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can look back, and especially in college, and girls wanted to go out with me. I mean, people loved me. I was not the late bloomer that stood in the corner.
Right.
I was a guy that could hang with everybody. I could be with the jocks. I could be with the geeks. I could hang with the girls. And
Yeah.
It was that. So that part is weird. It was a lot of lack of self-confidence. I mean, okay. So in a nutshell, it's that picture I was talking about where I went to a party without my parents around, and that was the other thing. Growing up in the church with the dad as a preacher,
Mm-hmm.
my mom's the preacher's wife, which is just as bad,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Then being homeschooled by my mom, there was nowhere to get away to figure out who I was.
Yeah.
So I think that might be the answer to why I was a late bloomer is I didn't have the space to breathe and get away and just try things without feeling silly or stupid or a failure.
Mm-hmm. So,
And the one time I did was that birthday party, and then they saw pictures and like, ooh, that doesn't make me feel comfortable at all.
Right, exactly. So like, were you when was the age when you started hearing other people doing things and you're like, hey, wait a minute, am I supposed to do these things too? Or you didn't hear any of that?
Well, I think in college age. So I went to 1 year of college.
Okay.
And then did some other things in my life. So when I say college, it's the range from 18 to 23.
Yeah, okay.
Roughly. Because then when I was 23, I met my wife. When I was 22, we met. And then we dated and got married when I was 23.
Okay.
Is that right? Maybe I think so. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Don't worry. So it really during high school and all that, I mean, some guys had girlfriends, and I knew I was missing out on that, right? Just seeing them sit together, hold hands, be cute, break up, which is like, I'm not missing out on that.
Yeah, you can keep that.
I don't know that the company I kept really slept around, and that's the thing, man. That's my strong belief in high school. It's American Pie, right?
Okay.
The movie American Pie. Everybody believes everybody's sleeping with everybody else, but most of the time, reality is nobody's getting any. They just all tell stories and whatever. I know there's some other stuff going on, but I wasn't around that too much, so I didn't get to firsthand hear. But I did notice that I wanted a relationship. I wanted somebody to think I was awesome.
Right? Yeah.
And
of course.
my first girlfriend did come when I was 17 years old, I think it was.
Okay.
And she was. I've always had expensive taste, if you will.
Okay.
You know how some guys shoot for something they can obtain. I always went, no, I'm the future rock out of podcasting, so I'm going to take it. So I went for the hottest chick around.
Okay.
And we actually went out for a summertime.
Ooh.
But it turns out that so part of my humor, part of who I am, as you can tell, is I do have an edge to me. I'll say things just to irritate people, just to be funny, right? I'm edgy. I'll say things other people won't think about. And I did a lot of that then.
Yeah.
A lot more of that then. I would say things to piss people off. So I had that bad boy edge to me. But at heart, I'm really a good person. And
Yeah.
I've figured out how to work those two things in tandem now. But she just saw the bad boy. So when her parents loved me, and I respected them because that's what I was taught to do, and I was nice to them, she didn't like me no more.
No. Oh, no.
And she broke up because of how we kissed, man. So.
Oh, you were a bad kisser?
Not now.
Well, no, I mean back then.
Do you have any siblings, anything like that?
Yes.
I don't imagine as adults you might do this, and it'd be fine if you did. But as kids, you might kiss a little bit, but it's that little, little peck or whatever.
Right.
That's what I did for her. And
Got you.
And she was very disappointed. And but ultimately, I believe that she was looking to piss her parents off. To sleep with someone, because the next guy she went with, I think she slept or dated, she slept with him, and it became a thing after that. And last I heard was years ago that she became a stripper. I was like, well, she had the body for it, so whatever works.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with stripping, but we know a lot of times it's damage.
Right.
Anyway, my no judgment. Now I feel like people are gonna email you or me and be like, What's wrong? Nothing's wrong with being a stripper. I'm sorry.
I know, right? Now we got to make like a whole episode of that.
There's some who are just smart business women and know how to fucking work shit.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
More power to you.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
Anyway. So yeah, but she broke my heart, man. It was that. See, I was never taught how to respect myself, how to value myself, and how to be confident in myself. So I went after this girl, I got her, and then didn't know what to do with her. Right? So I wasn't interested in having sex. I mean, I was a good Christian kid, and I wasn't. I mean, I was taught a lot of wrong ideas about sex.
Okay.
But for me, I'm going to qualify. For me personally, this goes to that whole jealousy thing I talked about with my wife, and she's the same way. When we were talking, we talked honestly when we were dating, and we talked about, she goes, doesn't every guy want a three-way? And I thought seriously, no. It's not about. I mean, trust me. Don't get it wrong. I wouldn't mind all the attention on me, but when the attention's on, when somebody's taking your attention from me,
yeah.
I don't play well with others. I don't share. I mean, I was not degrading her as a toy, but the phrase, and she understood it, was I don't share my toys well.
No, exactly. Jennifer is the same way. Yeah, she doesn't share well. Well, I guess I can say that too. Yeah, we had a conversation about that. Like, we would ever like have a well, not us together obviously, but like separately, like would there ever be a threesome? And I was like, I don't know. Like, of course, like the idea is very titillating, but I don't know if I could handle seeing my girl, getting banged out by somebody else. I'd be like, get off her, or something like that. So
yeah. And then for me, well, the biggest thing I was worried about coming up through the dating and the romance was being compared to somebody else, because I was so self-conscious and so damaged and so in my own shell that it would have killed me. The second girlfriend, I've only had 3.
Okay.
The second girlfriend I had, she again, one of the hottest chicks around, and oh man, okay, girls, if you're in church, you're probably not listening to this show, but you should, because it's going to open your world to some realities. And here's the thing. At one point, some church I was involved in, this is more college age, when I was a little bit more on my own, we were encouraged as guys to write down what we want in a wife, which is stupid, because you're single. You don't know what the hell you want in a wife.
Right.
You ultimately want somebody to bang you all the time and have fun with you.
Right.
That's if we're being honest, that's what you want. And then as you grow and meet people and learn, as some people do with dating, you break up. Well, I like this, and that, but obviously these parts don't work for me.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I learned all of that through watching TV, more or less.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But you talked about earlier that you didn't sow your wild oats, but you've learned from other people's experiences, and you can if you pay attention. And I would watch the people around me and have friends who are females and have friends who are guys, and just, what do I like? What do I like about this guy? Well, I like that he does this, so maybe I'd want my wife to do that. If you're gay, you're gay. If you're straight, you're straight.
Yeah.
There's no, whatever you're attracted to. So I am attracted to women. My story is going to be about my wife. Okay?
Right.
But there's definitely, just take the gender out of it, and it applies to you.
Right.
However you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I was a little bit gender fluid there, with not going, oh, guys are for other, guys are guys, I just want girls. Now I pay attention to, why am I hanging out with this guy?
Yeah.
What is cool about him? Because I like that about him. I want that in a life partner.
Yeah,
minus penis for me. Just,
hold the penis. Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to help a brother out. But I'd written down, these things in my Bible, right, about what I wanted. And this girl, we were talking, I was just being a friend to her and helping her out, and she'd had multiple partners in the past and then found Jesus, and I don't get me off on that topic, but I'm talking to myself, because I know you're not getting me off on that topic. One night, we were talking on the phone, and she'd had at least one abortion, if not more, and it was wrecking her heart and this and that. And I'm just trying to comfort her, and somehow it came up about that whole, what are you looking for in a wife? And I think I read it to her. I can't remember if I did or not, but I remember I was looking at it, and she basically said, "Oh, how do I stack up?" Don't do that.
I know, right? That's sabotage.
Sabotage, because then So we never officially dated.
Yeah.
We were doing everything together like a couple for a while, and then we come to a crossroad where I have to put a name on it, and she just didn't like me that way, so I tried to give her space, and then she'd show up at my apartment and want to hang out, and we're still running in the same circles, but it was bad. And she was a little crazy. She had to deal with some stuff. That's what it is.
Right.
She had to deal with some stuff,
yeah.
And we just had to get away from each other, and that was a mess. And fast forward to when I was dating my wife, I was playing drums in a whole other church group. It took me a long time to get away from the church, by the way. It took me a while to get out of all the... There's some good stuff there. If you're in a church and you're listening, trust me, there is some good stuff.
Yeah, there is.
There's faith-based stuff that's good. There's a whole lot of religion. Religion's man-made. So when somebody takes something that should be a universal truth and then they build principles on it, that's religion.
Yeah, yeah.
It took a long time to find my way into the world and make myself known to myself, and then figure out what I could do from there. But I was playing drums for this church group in a bar, so that was a step, right? We're a church group in a bar,
right?
And I'm sitting on the stage, and we're going, right? And in the back door comes the ex, the one I was just telling you about, where we were on and off, and it again, wrong lessons. See, if you don't know who you are, it's hard to find a good partner. So you really... When somebody says, I just have to work on myself, I know that's a played line. I know sometimes that's an excuse, but the truth is, you can work on yourself in a relationship. You absolutely, I did it for 17 years.
Right.
With my wife. You know, that's the best, because then you have help working on yourself, and they have help working on themselves. But in the previous two girlfriends, there was no working on me. It was just give or take. It was no work. So I was playing the drums, and she walks in. I was like, "Oh shit!" Because my fiance is sitting there on the front, basically in the front seats, cheering me on.
Yeah.
And the ex comes in the door, and she's cheering me on, and she takes her. They never met, didn't know each other, nothing. She takes her happy butt, sits right next to my fiance.
Oh, of course, yeah. Let's just make it awkward.
I didn't miss a beat, nothing. I just kept playing the drums, and my mom was like, I watch way too much TV because TV is becoming reality right now.
Exactly.
and so, of course, at the end, I did introduce them. And the moment I knew I was going to marry my wife was that night, because my ex pulled me aside, let her. She goes, I don't know what it is. I just don't know. But it hurts my stomach to see. I just don't think she's right for you. It hurts my stomach to see you with her. And I literally laughed in her face. I was like, what? Really? Okay, thanks.
Gotta go?
And I instantly, of course, when I got in the truck with my wife, or fiance then, but wife now, but I told her she had mixed reactions. She kind of laughed, but she's also like, bitch, I will cut a bitch.
That's awesome.
It's a mess. But that one wasn't going to work out. The reason I told all that was I knew in being with her that for me, I was at a point in my life I could not, now of course the words weren't this fancy, but I could not deal with her having a history with other men. Because in my mind, I'm always thinking I'm going to be compared to somebody else. They did something this way that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
And to be asked to say, hey, would you try this, would have killed me at that point, because I'm not good enough.
Right.
Now it is a different story.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take back. I've talked enough. But I mean, there's plenty of stories from the wife. I mean, that's still all late blooming right there. I was still a man child when I got married.
Oh man. So because I remember seeing in your email to me that you had some stories about your first quote unquote girlfriend, and I was like, why is that in quotes? so I wanted to ask, like, what was that about? I mean, have you talked about like your first girlfriend?
Well, so I was 12.
Yeah.
And the short long is that growing up in the church, we moved to this area when I was 5. And so I had a few memories before that. My dad had been in the seminary. I have some child memories there. But most of my memories start roughly at this point when we moved and we're in this church. And we spent almost 7 years there. And I'm being fed God is love.
Right.
The church represents Jesus, and I'm buying every second of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I as a kid could and does, and that's the thing about messages. And when somebody tells you something that's not right and you buy into it, you will live your life out of that message until you realize the message is wrong.
Yeah.
But the same is true when you don't know any better and you buy into a message that's right. Because I still believe God is love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Christians are not love. I think there's a whole lot of mess in this world because of religion.
Right.
But I do believe when stuff like 9/11 happens, or when stuff like tsunamis happen, and as a humanity we step up and we say, let's help these people.
Yeah.
That's love. And you can call it the universe, you can call it God, you just call it love in general.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
And I bought all of that. And then politics came into play inside the church, and power moves came into play. And 2 people were asked to resign for no particular reason, just because they weren't in play ball, the music director and my father. Okay. My father felt like it was all behind closed doors, so he felt like, no, that's wrong. And I get this from him. I'm like, don't hide shit. If you want to come at me, and just show the world you're coming at me. Maybe they'll back you, maybe they won't.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to fight you, but come at me like a man. Come at me in the open.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll never let you hide stuff. And so he did that. He basically made them take it to a vote. They did vote us out because it's the church and most people follow what they're told. There was never a controversy. Because I sat there, I know he would hide stuff from me, but he didn't. He knows now, but at the time he didn't know. I snuck into an empty nursery, turned on the speaker, and listened to everything. Yeah,
you sneaky bastard.
You wouldn't be exposed to it, but you can't get through life not knowing shit, man. And so there was no controversy. There was nothing they could say about him that would get him gone. They would just say, we don't feel like he's moving in the path that we're moving. Generalities that sound negative, but there's nothing behind it. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't going to come back after that. He just wanted to make it out in the open. He was leaving. Well, if they voted him in, he was going to resign. Okay. And he said that. So that might have gotten him voted out anyway. But because the point wasn't to go fuck you, man. The point was that you got to at least have this out in the open. You can't play this game. But so I had that trauma going on, because for me it was my whole world broke. Mm-hmm. Because everything I believe, the church is love, God is love, but you put us out in the street. Yeah. And from all accounts that I could tell, for no reason, mm-hmm. you put us out in the street, and you did us dirty. And he started preaching at this other church temporarily, and I met this girl, and we were 12. I guess technically she's my first girlfriend. We, quoted fingers, went together. Yeah. But I think we might have held hands. That was it. And we were together for like 2 weeks before we moved. So it's at a young age. My kids are not like this. Because I even talked to my boy about this, because he's had a couple of dances now. He's 12. He'll be 13 next year. Mm-hmm. And I check in with him sometime about what are the girls. I even say, "What, you like any girls? No, you like any boys?" Dad, it's not like that. I'm like, I'll just let you know it's okay, man.
Yeah, I love you anyway. Regardless.
Yeah, I just don't want you to ever feel like you got to hide shit from me.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me, like, it's cool. Yeah. So I touched base with him, but when I was 12, man, I was romantic at heart, and of course I grew up listening to Elton John. Nice. I grew up watching all the rom-coms and stuff, so I had that in me. So I was looking for a relationship. I think I was really looking for somebody to tell me it was okay for a moment, because my world had gone to shit. Yeah, yeah. And that's true for a lot of people. I mean, we call it a rebound, but I mean, we just do it in life. Sometimes we're with somebody just because they make the darkness go away for a minute, and that's helpful, but that's not great for long-term relationships. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, okay. So we got past the first girlfriend. We got past the stripper and all that stuff. So we're up to... Go ahead.
I was thinking I was in love with the stripper.
Yeah, that's right. You were in love with the stripper. Okay, so we're up to your fiance, and I believe you said that you lost your virginity to her?
Well, I didn't lose it. I know exactly where it is. Yeah, it's just with her. Another story popped in my mind. This is where brainwashing comes in, right? Because this is not a story about virtue and I'm a good man. I think about this story a lot, but the second girlfriend, the one that was had issues that she needed to work through, as I did too. She had come back from camp. She'd gone to be a counselor at this church camp for a bit, and had come back, and I think she had asked me for a ride or something. I can't remember. Or maybe I surprised her because she said she didn't get a ride home or whatever. So I was there waiting on her when they got there. And of course, all the teenagers were like, woo! But we were kind of together then. Mm-hmm. And because of her financial situation as well, they had food left over from the camp, some raw meat and stuff from that earlier that day that they gave to her to make hamburgers out of. So I took her home. She's like, hey, you want to hang out for a bit, this and that? I'm going to go get a long shower or a hot bath or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think about this to this day. Like, I just sat there and cooked her hamburgers for her so she would have them and store them nicely.
Yeah.
Never once tried to go into the bathroom. Never once, you know. And it's kind of that open ground to where if it could have happened, if it had happened, it would have ruined everything between. It's not like it was great after that anyway, but
right.
I just think about that going, I was so focused on what I truly wanted out of life, what I wanted out of a partner, that it didn't really even occur to me to take that step.
Right, and that's funny because I what I was going towards was I literally had this question. I was going to ask you, did you have any opportunities before you lost your virginity? Wait, what was it like? Yeah, did you have any opportunities, or didn't you just not do it because there weren't any women available? So that's
okay. So in my mind, originally the answer would have been, "There's never women available. Nobody liked me." But as my wife pointed out to me, because she saw some of it, and then I could extrapolate from there.
Yeah.
Now, chicks dug me, man.
Right.
I just didn't know it because I was so focused on my damage and I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I didn't say, but I compensated by being awesome outwardly. So, like that opportunity. I mean, with that girl, I slept at her house a number of times. I can't remember exactly why.
Yeah.
We spent a whole weekend together. I slept on the couch. She slept in her room.
Right.
Never once did one of us try to cry. I think she was waiting to see if I'd make a move, and she was trusting me to know that was right or whatever. I just never thought about making a move. It was just not in me at that time.
And how old were you guys?
Probably 21.
Okay.
22.
Oh wow. All right. And
this was I'd say between 19 and 21 was at that time of my life.
Okay. So do you think that she would have? What do you think she would have done if you went for it? Like, she would have been like, "Oh, all right, like good boy," or like, "Oh my God, you heathen." Like
a little of both, I think. So a story that she had of the previous boyfriend was he was a good church boy. Now he wasn't the preacher's kid, I don't think. I can't remember, but her last boyfriend was basically a church person, a religious person.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. When I said earlier that I was basically taught that God hates sex, and that's not true.
Yes.
And it's not, but people are so fearful of their children making mistakes, and people around them, and religious people are so fearful of others making mistakes because they won't deal with their own mistakes or whatever, that they put this negativity on it.
Yeah.
And she told me that she was with this guy, dating him, and he was a good church guy. He's the one that led her to Jesus or whatever. And he, after leading her to Christ, right, and showing this whole world where Jesus loves you and you can get redemption and this and that, the other, he basically, I don't know what the actual words were, but it's that song, "I want to know what love is and I want you to show me."
Oh yeah, by Foreigner. Are you kidding me?
He pulled that on her, basically, and they slept together. And
whoa! Because
she trusted him, and I don't remember how it broke up. I do kind of remember that it was a story of this can happen. And I don't think it was the right way, but I trust that God's going to show you the way or something. I don't think she was inviting me.
Yeah.
I think she was unsure of herself and trusting the person close to her to help show her the way. So I guess I did the right thing for her by not. But
right.
Because I didn't want to. It's because I was brainwashed to not think that way. And not that it was bad. I mean, I feel good about my life and where I've gone through. But there was other girls I hung out with that all wanted to date me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just never saw it. And a few of them told me later. It was like, yeah, because I asked them. I thought my wife was crazy. Like, thinking that all these chicks dug me, and I was so good friends with some. I was like, hey, we've been great friends for a while. Did you ever look at me like you wanted to go out with me? And like, oh yeah, you just wouldn't give me the damn time of day. I was so alone during those times.
I know, right? Oh, I hate that. That actually happened to me like 2 weeks ago. Like somebody, like I went to, it wasn't even a dinner thing. We're like, okay, like the bar is gonna close at like, 10 and it was like 9:30, like let's go. And then we just went and then we just started talking. She was like, yeah, you were kind of geeky back then. I was like, well, I'm still geeky. and then she was like, yeah, I was like so curious about you and how it would have been. And I was like, what, the 20 years later? Like, yeah, you telling me this? Like, what's going on? Like, that's so messed up.
Yeah. Oh, there was one girl who was sitting there complaining. I wasn't super into her.
Yeah.
But she was cute. Mm-hmm. And I was at the apartment of 4 girls, and they're all cute and fun. And but she was complaining that she was tired of sitting around just hanging out with people. She wanted to go on a date.
Okay.
And so I looked at her. I went, "You want to go out?" She didn't even hear me. She said, nobody will call me up and ask me. I'm like, oh, I think I know her name. You said not to name names. I won't name names, but I was like, so-and-so, I'll take you out. You want to go out? And she's just so caught up in her misery that she didn't hear it. Like, all right, well, whatever, man. Yeah, moving on.
Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
it
was a mess. But so I feel super egotistical. This coming from a guy who has a title rock out of podcasting. I feel super egotistical to say, yeah, women, I could have slept with a ton of women, but I think seeing the dates that I got, I was at a strict fundamental Christian school as a freshman, went and asked the hottest senior out because nobody would talk to her because she was the hottest girl there and she was a senior.
Of course.
And she was tall. And I'm 6'7", so to me she was just under my height, but she was probably 6'2".
Jesus.
Gorgeous girl.
Right.
And I just walked up to her, was like, hey, I don't remember her name, to be honest. Like, hey, so you want to go out? You want to go to this dance this week or whatever it was? And she's like, that'd be awesome. And man, any girl, I've never been turned down for a date.
Wow.
So I got to imagine how I applied my attentions to getting laid. I probably could have.
Right. But you were saying it was your self-esteem and your self-confidence that
absolutely
got you. Yeah, I'm the same way because like a lot of people say like I like till this day, like today, I cannot formally like go up to a chick and be like, hey, how are you? You know, that whole like slick talk type of thing. But like I can definitely hold a conversation with you. I mean, well, I hate small talk, but like if you want to like get into deep like conversations and stuff, I'm golden. Like I'm good. But like that initial like, hey, how are you? I can't. I'm fearful, like and all that stuff. I can't do it. So like so when I'm hearing your stories about high school and stuff like that, I'm like, yep, that was me. You know, like I couldn't. I was alone in my own world. Even though people liked me, I was never like bullied or like, you know, put in a trash can upside down or something like that. But like all the girls would be like, you know, they were like the jocks, and then with me it'd be like, well, there's Martini. You're like, oh, Martini, like my friend, and I'm like, oh, it's like that's it. That's all. That's all that you look at me as. Like, so I totally hear you. Yeah, definitely late bloom over here. So okay, so right. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, I want you to ask your question. I want to play it this.
Yes, please.
Ask your question, but we can flip the switch, and I did, and I can talk about all of that stuff.
About what?
About the confidence, about talking to people, about you know, basically how to really how to be confident in yourself, and how to pick up women or men or, you know, whoever you're wanting to date, and how to actually build a good, solid relationship.
Ooh, yes, we'll definitely get into that. But okay, first things first. So okay, so now 21, you have seen your wife. Tell me, how did you guys meet, and do you remember your first date?
Oh, yeah, I remember it all, man. So I grew up with the rom-coms. I grew up with the dating. And the biggest joke through the 80s and 90s, or the biggest trope you would have, is the man would never remember the anniversary or the birthday of his wife, right? That was a thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I've learned my lesson. I am going to remember those dates.
Yep.
I can tell you my first date was October 17th, 1999.
Okay.
I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1999. And my first kiss was with her was October. It was around Halloween, so it might have been first part of November, but it was right around Halloween.
Right.
And she was hanging out with me at work. I was an EMT at the time, which is emergency medical technician. You work on an ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
So she came to the ambulance station and hung out with me. And we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I remember. So it's TV, man. I live my life by TV and movies. This is what I do.
Right.
And this is true story. So I'm always aware, especially then, man. That was my thing. Have you ever seen the movie Heat?
No, I mean I've seen the the infamous shooting scene. What was it?
I bet you. Yeah. The firefight.
Yes.
I bet you Jen's seen it. I'm just saying.
She probably has.
Well, okay, so the principle I learned from that, there's a line that Val Kilmer gives, and it's throughout the film that they said, the bad guys, right? You can't have any attachments in your life. Have nothing in your life you can't walk away from in 30 seconds or less. And that really resonated with me because of the damage of getting kicked out of the church and put on the street and all the stuff, anger and rage I was carrying with me. And so I was always aware. And then I saw some other gangster movies where you don't sit with your back to the window. I adopted some interesting things from movies and TV.
Right.
But I'm always aware of what's going on around me. I'm still fairly aware, just being observant of what happens. And I saw this person walking across the parking lot of the hospital. My partner and I were there with the ambulance to pick up a patient to take them to a nursing home or home or something. And so I just saw somebody moving. We went into the hospital to get the paperwork and talk to him. Came back out, and the person was closer. We pull out the stretcher, and there she was holding the door. And as we go through the door, I mean, time froze. Little dun, dun, dun. And I never, see, it was beat into me to treat women with respect, right? So you don't look at their butts or their legs or ogle them openly. You don't be rude.
Yeah.
And so I never did this to her. I mean, from the hair, slow pan down to the feet, slow pan right back up to her face, like, holy shit. I mean, it just struck.
Yeah.
And it struck enough that I was confident enough. I still was not very confident then even, but I was confident enough to go ask a nurse that was a friend of mine about her. I was like, hey, there's this girl. She looks like she's my age over in the ER. I was like, oh, because I was everybody's little brother at that point.
Oh, God.
Like, let me help you. All right, I'll get the information.
Right.
And I don't know that we even spoke at that point. And then later on that night, there was a note, like late that night, because she apparently worked from 3 to 11 or 2 to 11, something like that. And so late that night, about midnight, we were back into the ER, and I see a note taped to the cabinet that said Charles on it. And I thought there's a possibility of another person named Charles. It's a tiny hospital. They had like 40 beds. It was a little tiny country hospital.
Right.
I thought, well, I know almost everybody here, and I'm pretty much only Charles around. And I asked the nurse, like, is that who's that for? And I'm like, oh, I think it's for you. And they're all, hee hee hee. And I pulled off the thing, it said hello on it, or hi or something, and it had my wife's name on it. I was like, okay. And I was like, big goofy grin. And like, well, it turns out my partner, who was we call him a hound dog, but let's be honest, he was a whore. He banged everything that moved. He went after every new piece of ass that came around.
Right.
He was going to go after her, although he was 40 at the time.
Right.
And she was obviously not over 30.
Right.
I mean, she wasn't like a young babe or anything, obviously in high school or nothing. But,
Yeah.
But she was 17 at the time.
Right.
And she had already finished school early and got a job and was working as a secretary in the ER.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, she was obviously not in his appropriate age range. But once he found out she was 17, he decided to help me. He left a note with my name on it for her to say hello or whatever.
Look at this guy.
So that went back. That happened we worked 1 day on, 2 days off. So that was my day on. I was off for 2 days thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
Then the third day when I'm on again, it's during the day, and a bunch of coworkers were talking about going out to this club that was 18 and over.
Okay.
That you could bring people in, and we're going to go as a group. So they said, you should go ask her. And it was bright and sunny, a bunch of glass in the hallway, so the sun's going down the hallway. So I walked down the hall with my sunglasses on, and I opened up the door, stick my head in, I'm trying to be cool, right? I'm nervous. I've never had to ask a girl out. So my other girlfriends, they just almost literally kind of fell in my lap, right? It was a situation where we're hanging out, and then it was kind of cool, like, hey, would you like to hang out alone and go do something? And it just kind of became boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah. I never had to properly, as an adult, ask a girl on a date. So I'm hyping myself up. I stick my head in, and before I could open my mouth, my future wife says to me, looks up from her sitting position, looks up at me and goes, nice glasses. Where'd you get those? Burger King? And in my head, I'm like, ah! And I'm like, no, you can do this. I'm like, hey, I didn't even know what to say. I just kind of stopped in my tracks and said, hey, a bunch of us are going out this weekend. I'd like to know if you'd like to come along. We're going to, I think it's called Mama's or something. We're going to this club, and it's 18 and over. And she hits me with, oh, all right, well, I'll have to ask my dad. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm out. So,
right.
You kicked me in my glasses, and you slapped me with the dad card.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. What turned out her dad, we ended up going out that weekend alone and on a proper date, and it was interesting, and I embarrassed the shit out of her and all that stuff. But her dad and mom were divorced, and he had only been back in their lives for a few years, and so they had plans to go out that weekend to do something together. And she wanted to she wanted to kiss with him to go out with me, but I didn't know that. I thought she was just blowing me off.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh man. Okay. So since you were all like I guess indoctrinated with the whole like religion and Christian thing and all that stuff, did you guys move in with each other before you got married?
No. Okay, so what happened was, so here's the thing. Talking about confidence and building.
Yes.
I was always the jokester, right? I always had the lines. I still do.
Yeah.
I still have, if I work with females, and I like to make people feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So I will flirt. I've had this open policy. I will flirt with guys and girls alike because it makes you feel good, makes for a good working environment. It's fun, and it's funny. People really go, oh, that Charles, man, he's a hoot. That's stupid. I hope they don't say I'm a hoot. So on our second date,
yeah,
I was swingers, right? Not like banging people that are married. I'm talking about the movie swingers.
Yeah.
The principle of you wait 3 days to call. Well, she called me at 2 days, and we talked, and we made a plan for her to come out and hang out with me at the station, and we'll play some card games. And basically, if I had a call, like had to run an emergency call, she would just stay at the station or whatever. I'd go do that, or she'd go home or something like that. Because it's a pretty slow station, and people were cool with visitors. Well, we go outside at the end of the night, and there's this ditch that's just perfect for laying in and looking up at the stars. And I'd seen that ditch for like 2 years and wanted somebody to lay in it with me. It's all grass and stuff. It's not nothing dirty. It's just a nice dip where it's almost like a ground hammock, and you're looking up at the stars. There's no light pollution. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, you want to look at the stars? Okay. And she's just coming along, and I hit her with my line that I've hit people with. I'll keep you, or she's like, it's a little cool outside or something like, I'll keep you warm, baby. It's always been a line. It's always been a joke.
Right.
And she went, okay. And next thing I know, we're curled up together on the ground staring at the stars.
Yeah.
And it's like the Dilbert cartoon where the girl holds his hand, the other hand's like, I didn't know. I'm like, holy shit.
I know, right?
I just went with it. And we ended up kissing at the end of the night, and it fireworks, and I mean, we were pretty much set on our path from there. But she was dating another guy, not as a boyfriend. Yeah. But she told me at first, like, this other guy, we've gone out on dates, and I clarified, is that he's your boyfriend? He's like, no, we're dating. It is not friends, but we're not exclusive. I'm like, okay, and I literally said to her, that's cool. I don't have to worry about you on a Friday night sitting home alone waiting on me. Because I got plans for my life, and I think we should have some fun as adults and date. And it was, dude, when you break it down like that, it takes all the tension out when you can be honest with somebody. Yeah. And I'm not recommending that you go up, Martini, and talk to a girl and be like, hey, you got a guy? Because I'd like to take you out right now, but Friday night, you're on your own. That honesty of, this is what I want to do with my life. This is what is going on in my life. Can we find time to see what happens? Yeah. That opens up every door. And so when I've talked about being told that God hates sex and that indoctrination, here's the problem with indoctrination. Love wins, right? And I know that's true for anti-anything, right? Yeah. Hate speech, anything. Love wins. Well, the truth is that's just true. That's a universal truth. Because as my wife and I fell more and more in love and wanted to be with each other more and more, and the sex drives are kicking in, right? And the blue balls are hurting like a motherfucker. Ice packs don't help. I'm just telling you now. You start going, why? Why do I believe sex is for marriage? Why? And that's the different approach I've taken with my kids of, you value yourself. Because here's what's happened for me. We did have sex before we got married. She and I. And I know, right?
How dare you?
Valentine's night, we had the house to ourselves. I made a romantic dinner, put on romantic music. What the fuck did I think was going to happen? I don't know. It was TV. It was too much TV because that shit works.
I know, yeah. You set it up. You set it up perfectly, and you're like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing after this?
And there was some guilt, right? We both carried guilt. We both grew up in the church, me more than her, but she had a promise ring and this and that. And I love one day after we've been having sex for a while, and she's like, and we were safe. We used condoms and birth control and whatnot, but she's like, if I get pregnant, we're not getting married. I'm like, what? Like, I think it's stupid to only get married because you get pregnant.
I got you.
I don't know how to process that in the moment.
Yeah.
But we did talk about it. I was like, no, I love you. I want to marry. I mean, I think we're already engaged or whatever.
Yeah.
But I said, no, I get your point. You know, it shouldn't be just about the kid, but whatever.
Right.
That's my wife, man. She's bluntly honest. I love her for it.
Yeah, she sounds freaking awesome.
But no, we didn't move in, even though we could have. We really waited till we got married and then moved in, just because I hate people messing with my business.
Uh-huh.
You know, I hate people butting in when they don't need to, especially then. And her parents didn't really like me all that much. Mm-hmm. My parents, I don't think, liked her.
Right.
And we were perfect, but she had advice. I'll just leave it at that. I won't tell you who said it, but she had advice.
Yeah.
From somebody close to her. Yeah. That said, is it about sex? You don't have to get married. You don't have to rush out and get married. It's about just have sex. And she's like, holy crap, no. This is about building a life. I don't understand. So while we did have plenty of sex before marriage.
Right.
We dated for 6 months and then we're engaged for 6 months and got married. So it is a pretty fast process.
Okay. It's so funny how your story is like similar to mine. I'll tell you like a little bit of mine, I've peppered this throughout the podcast, so I can't even tell you which episode to like go back and listen to. But
all of them.
Yes, listen to all of them. No, but with my ex-fiance, she was very religious, and but obviously, you know, we like loved each other, and every time, I mean, we I wouldn't say that we had sex too often, but because of that. Because every time we would have sex, we loved each other, but then she would feel guilty about it, and she wouldn't necessarily make me feel guilty about it, like I talked her into it or something like that, you know. But
right, but it's still there.
Yeah, it was still there, and I'm just like, but I love you, like this isn't like wrong, you know. Well, at least to me, you know, like I'm not going anywhere. I want to see where this goes, you know, like I want to marry you, blah, blah, blah. And even with that, it was bad. And I'll tell you this, I remember when I was like, we were 4 years in, and I was like, you know what, like this might be the year. No. We were 4 years in, right? But in the 2.5 year mark, I was like, yep, I'm gonna marry this chick. They're like, I'm gonna marry this chick. So from year 2 to year 4, I was saving up for a ring. Okay. So like, So on year 4, I was like, you know what? I know I'm eventually going to have to, you know, do the whole, like, ask the dad thing, whatever. But I didn't want to do that just yet.
No, I did not do that.
Oh, really? Oh, snap. All right. But
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. So with me, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do the whole dad thing yet. But I do want to see where his head is at. So my ex-fiance and myself and her parents, we went out to dinner, and I just wanted to like feel them out. So I was like, yeah, you know, we're eating, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, yeah, so you know that I've been, you know, with your daughter for like 4 years, and I wanted to know like where do you think this is going? Where do you think the head's at? And
this is gonna be bad. I can feel it.
Yeah, it was bad because guess what? Because I forgot to tell you that her parents were elders in their church.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. So he's like, you know what? At first I really didn't take your relationship seriously. You know, I just thought that she would, you know, have your time with you and then be done with you. And then like, that's it. Whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he was like, but to tell you the truth, I knew like this day was gonna come that you were gonna ask me like something like that, and you know I slept on it. No, he said I spoke with God, I slept on it, and I saw that you aren't a man of God. I don't see you as a man of God, and I want a man of God in my daughter's life to lead her to like to the promised land or Haagen-Dazs, whatever. You know, so like,
oh my God, dude, we could talk about.
And I'm just like, oh wow. I was like, first off, I was like, yo, you think I'm here for like with your daughter for 4 years for like shits and giggles, you know? I mean, obviously I didn't say this stuff, but I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, man, that really sucks that this guy, like, you know, meanwhile, I'm telling you, like, I'm saving up for this ring, and this guy's telling me that, like, nah, you're not the guy. And I'm just like, yo, F that. So, like, I still went and bought the ring. And then, July 28th of 2012. Remember, I'm just like you. I remember dates, you know, because they're important. So July 28th, 2012, I popped the question, and she was like, "Oh my god, like yes, I'm like yes, I will." I was like, "All right, cool." And she's like, "Wait, but did you like talk to my dad?" And I was like, no. And then she's like, oh, you have to call him. You have to call him. I was like, all right, fine. So I called him like right then and there, like 2 seconds after I proposed. And she's like trying it on, and it's like beautiful. And I call, and I'm like, hey, so can I like, you know, marry your daughter and stuff like that? And he's like, you know what? You're just gonna do whatever you're gonna do. You know, so it doesn't matter what I say, but I mean, whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll talk to you later. Bye, click. You know, and it happened, but then like 3 months later, what's 3 months later? November 25th, 2012, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, which is my favorite holiday, by the way. So it stung extra bad that she broke up with me, because she realized that like I was never going to be that person that she wanted me to be, you know, like that like kind of like priest guy or whatever, you know, because like she would kind of squeeze in like, hey, you know, do you think we could like read from like the Bible like once a week and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't see any problem with that, you know. But like, she really
wants. It's a trap.
I know. It's a trap. But she really just wanted me to be in that zone and stuff. And I was like, look, I can read from the Bible and stuff like that, you know. And we went to church with each other too, and it was cool. But like, I'm not gonna be your pastor, you know. Like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm sorry. And that's not to say that I hate God. You know, I love God. You know, and just like you. I want to have that straight line from me to God, and not, you know, me, religion, then God. You know what I mean? So I was all about that. But like, she just wanted me to, you know, just be more. And the ironic thing with the story that you told me about how quickly your proposal and marriage went, I found out, because, you know, I have little birdies around, that like she went out with this guy, like we broken up for like 4 years, so it's not like it was like very soon, but like that guy that she went out with him for 4 months. He was like what is it, a piano player in not a chorus, in the choir, in the church choir, and like they got engaged in 4 months, and then 6 months after that they got married super quick. And I felt like shit, because I was like, wow, did my 4 years not mean anything? That you just scooped it up really quick? But it wasn't that. It was just that, like, she just found that person that was right for her and her lifestyle. You know?
You can assume, and it is possible.
Yeah.
But you got. I don't want to speak ill of your relationship, but it sounds like you got out at a good time.
That's what a lot of people have said, and I think so too. I think we probably would have had a divorce, because it would have just went that way, you know. I mean, I loved her to death, you know. But like, yeah, I think you're right. I think she did the right thing. So I know I'm personally running short on time, and I kind of want to keep talking about this. But here's the biggest thing in my relationship that my wife and I have come to, because I fully believed marriage is for life, right? Not because God said so, not because it's a wedding contract or some shit. I just believe it's the most important thing that you're ever going to do. Partnerships. I mean, you are in a partnership with Jen on the show. You're probably, you work a job, you're in a partnership with the people you work with. And they're all different levels of partnerships, but they take investing of time and energy. The most important partnership you're going to have is that person who sticks by you night and day, lives with your bullshit and your worst moments, and loves you anyway. Yeah. And not just sees who you are, but sees who you are inside. Yes. I never use the phrase who you can be, because that's just, people want to change people, and that's bullshit. But my wife saw past my demeanor, saw past my damage, and saw who I truly was in my heart and who I was in my soul, and loved that. And the biggest moment in our lives
was we'd been fighting. For the first 2 years of our marriage, it was a roller coaster of super happy newlywed times to bitter, ugly fights.
Right.
And just coming to terms. It's the Eminem song. And I've used this to describe a relationship more than once. I love the way you lie. Okay. And in the phrasing he uses, when a volcano meets a tornado. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was us. Mm-hmm. And it's 3 a.m, pitch black. So we had been fighting since before midnight, and it gotten dark, and we just never turned on the lights, fighting in the middle of our house in the middle of the night. And we burned out all of our emotions, right? We were just spent. The fight, we had no more energy to fight anymore, and we're sitting there in the quietness, in the darkness. And I honestly do not remember which one of us started it, but the general consensus was, I can't do this anymore. I can't fight. This hurt. This is bullshit. This hurts too much. I can't do this anymore. But out there without you is worse.
Oh,
so we
wow.
have to figure out how to fucking stop this shit.
Yeah.
And that changed everything for us. Mm-hmm. And along the way, that's what hit me. That's I want to be a part of your show, man. I just want to do a follow-up show to Bed Love Beyond. I'm like, all right, here's my thoughts on what Martini and Jen said, because you're talking about the guy with the chick on the side. It's like, no, you fucktard. You're missing out. You have this woman who has your kid and does everything for you, and instead of understanding what you have in life mm-hmm. and investing in that, you think a sexual act or some other plug-in will make you feel whole, and really the emptiness is inside of your heart. Yeah. And I know the church uses that to say Jesus fits there. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that. I'm saying damage is damage. And until you deal with it, you can sleep with as many people as you want. It ain't going to fix anything. Mm. And we started going to marriage counseling after that fight. She dropped out. And truthfully, most of the problems were mine. I stuck with it, started working on myself, started making compromises, started growing up, and started letting go of my damage. I don't mean, it's time to grow up. I'm a big kid at heart. We still have fun. That's what's part of the spark of our relationship. People who just meet us, ask us how long we've been married, and when we tell them 17 years, they're always blown away. They're like, oh my God, you're acting like newlyweds. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Right. Because we are sexual beasts, and we are in love with each other, and we have our fights, and we have our down moments. But the reality is, I have a card still that I'm holding on to. I think it was from about this time last year we had a big fight, and this time it was on her from shit she was dealing with, and she wrote me a card that says, no matter what I say or what I do, I love you. Because we had a really tough moment in life there. Yeah. But the sex, everything with our sex has been better and better and better as we get to invest in each other. Right. Everything that we have done, because that's the thing, sex is way more than okay, I'm going to be frank, and you can cut this part out. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Get a clean version and then you cut out version.
Nah, F that shit. Go ahead.
sex is way more than the physical act. Yeah. Sex is more than getting your dick wet. Right. It is. It's about that soul connection. Yeah. And I was taught, and I believe wrongly, that every time you have sex with a new partner, a piece of your soul is left behind. Whatever. This way too metaphysical for me to hear. Right. But I do believe you do have a connection. I think one night stands or whatever, it's not for me, but I don't judge. Yeah. And only you can know what happens with you. Right. And in your heart and mind and body and all that. But I can tell you with my wife, every time we've worked with each other on each other, once I've gotten past a piece of damage or we've reached a new level of our relationship, life is so much better. And I can tell you, I might not have as much sex as when we were young and didn't have kids. Yeah. But the sex I have now blows that out of the water. Nice. In a heartbeat. That's what I'm talking about. I wouldn't trade her for the world. And I got to tell you, I've got the anti-cheating speech down. Because I thought about it. I'm weird like that. I don't mean I thought about, I had this opportunity. No, I just randomly one day was thinking to myself, like, what if I had an opportunity? What would I do? And then I war gamed it. And that's a term that you play scenarios out on paper, on table, or sometimes just in your head to see where it'd go. Yeah. And I was like, my wife has stuck with me way too much. I brought a lot of bullshit to the table. I brought a lot of damage. And she stuck with me through that and invested in my life and has supported me even when she didn't believe in me, because I was trying to be a musician, and you can imagine how that went. Oh, yeah. But she supported me, and she was there. Why would I jeopardize this amazing thing in life, somebody who believes in me even when I don't believe in myself, and let's be honest, when you get strange, even if you wrap up, you might get 30 minutes. If you don't, wow, what Jen called it the other day? glove up. She didn't call it glove up. She called it something fun. I forget. but if you don't use protection, you get 5 minutes.
Right.
And that's it. Why would you throw away your life for 5 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This whole side chick thing. Why would you do that if you love this person? Cheating is about the damage in you. Side hustles are about the damage in you. And until you fix that, all you're going to do is throw away anything that you like. I mean, how many horror stories, how many divorces end happy? I mean, seriously, I know a few. Yeah. They just realized they weren't the right people for each other. But mostly, somebody, if not both, are miserable. Mm-hmm. Even later in life is about, to quote TV again, my fucking bitch of an ex-wife. That horrible bastard of an ex-husband. You're still angry. And if you're carrying the anger is the flip side to love. Yeah. So you still have that in you if you're still mad at him. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's I know. But I know you got to run, but I'm telling you right now, we definitely need to do a follow-up because you're an amazing guest and I have a whole bunch more questions because stuff about your marriage and stuff like that, but also late blooming in vocation, in job. I think that's another aspect that people haven't really talked about, like, how do you find yourself in like your career? So I think you'd be a good person to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you the magic of what you have in your show, for me personally, is that you see some things similar, you and Jen, and you see some things separately, differently. You're not afraid to make a stand about what you believe in. And there's so many moments that I'm like, I wish I have this to add to your show and that to add to your show. And any podcast that can get anybody to say, oh, I can add this thought, means you're doing the right thing, man. So you definitely keep up the work.
No. Thank you.
But let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff that goes on at rockoutofpodcasting.com where I do an hour and a half typically of just a question. What do you think about this, or what are your thoughts on this, or sometimes it's just something that's happened in my life. And communication is a big deal in my life, and a lot of things I talk about come down to that. And that's not even what we got to. We were just telling the story today. But if you want a relationship, communication is key. I mean, we talked about that a little bit, about being honest with each other and what you want.
Yes.
Because why? If you don't want kids and she does, or vice versa, no, it will never work out.
Yeah. Nope.
Just own that.
Yeah.
Anyway. But that's unabashed, unapologetic. It's Kevin Smith storytelling with the naughty sauce meets Tony Robbins motivation meets a little Jim Swilly truth telling and soul searching, and that's what you get. It's just more twice a month now because I'm super busy doing stuff. Because if you go to charlesmcfall.com, you'll see everything pretty much that I do. Some projects I hadn't even had time to put up there yet. But I run a podcast network. I do a whole bunch of geek stuff with Giant Size Team Up. Run a comic book show, Pokemon Go show. I mean, I do a lot of stuff. But for this and what Bed Love and Beyond is doing, you're going to sync up with Rock Out Podcasting a lot more. And anytime you want to talk to me, man, I am down. You guys you're doing the Lord's work here.
No, thank you. Thanks a lot. And we definitely want to talk about maybe some like business opportunities with that giant size network thing or whatever you call it. But no, we definitely want to have you on the show again for like I guess a part 2. We'll make it a part 2.
All right. That'll work. And then maybe Jen will be here this time. She can throw her questions and her thoughts.
Oh no. We'll definitely make sure that she's on the next one, the part 2. But no, thank you so much, Charles. You are definitely the rock god of podcasting. You're awesome, man.
Thanks, Martini, and I really am serious. You guys are doing amazing things, and keep it up.
No, thank you so much, and keep listening to the episodes. I'm really, I really.
Oh yeah, I'm hooked. I'm in.
Yes, and please, write us in and tell us like what things you liked in what particular episode. Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right, Charles. Thanks a lot. All right, that was Charles McFall, the rock god of podcasting. Man, that was. I mean, you saw how we were. We could have like gone for like another hour, easy tops. Like, you know how many freaking questions I got up in here that I was ready to dish out. But like, he really gave us some really good things to talk about and to dive in. I'm definitely gonna go back and listen to this episode so I can give him more questions. And hit him with that good stuff, you know how I do. So but anyway, are you so to give it off to the audience? Are you guys late bloomers? Or if you're not, like, what there's some of the advice that you can give to other late bloomers about, trying to make it in life, whether it's career wise or relationship wise. Please give us write to us at bedlovebeyond@gmail.com, or you can go to our website www.bedlovebeyond.com, so you can see more. So you can see articles. I didn't even get to the articles. Like, we were just so wrapped up in each other's lives that we didn't even get to any of the articles. But that's how it is, man. That's how the podcast is. It's just free form pretty much. But yeah, you can look at our articles again on the website www.bedlovebeyond.com. You can give us a call or text us at 201-862-8BED. That is 201-862-8233. Also, you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/bedlovebeyond, where you can talk to our fans about this episode and more, just like Charles. Charles is going to be on there. He's going to be like, yo, did you hear what freaking Jen said? Yo, she's crazy. She's awesome. Preach. You know what I mean? And you can follow us at bedlovebeyond on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. All right, guys, my name is Martini. I'm telling you, man, we're definitely going to have Charles back on here. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.